Alrighty, hello everybody! I am Gamemaster 909, back with more of Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 64. Now previously, we took care of the entirety of the one-player game, or the one-player mode, actually, including the one-player game, training mode, and the bonuses. So now, we can focus on the other big mode in this game, Versus Mode, which is pretty much the multiplayer mode. So, when entering Versus Mode, you have a couple of options, and that consists of rules, options, and start. Now, for rules, there are 4 different types of versus battles we could play. Those are time battles, stock battles, along with team versions of those 2 game modes. So really, there's only 2 game modes with a team variation, which I'll get until later. Now when we go into options, we'll find handicapped, team attack, which is pretty much turning friendly fire on and off when playing team battles, to where with it on, you'll be able to damage your own teammates. Stage select, you could pretty much turn it off to have a random stage be selected. And damage, this is pretty much changing the amount of knockback that'll be in effect for the round. So if you turn it down, it, I believe, will be more difficult to knock back your opponent, and when you have it up to 200%, it'll be easier to do so. We may as well turn it to the default 100% for now. No handicap. I'm not sure what auto handicap is, but yeah. So we may as well. But by the way, with this third option, you could set the time in a time battle and the amount of lives that everyone has in a stock battle. So time battles is pretty much the goal is to get as many KOs as you can before the timer runs out. And in stock battles, it's pretty much the battles we see in the one-player game, to where it's pretty much last man standing with a set amount of lives. We may as well start with time battles. Alright, here we are in the versus mode, or versus mode menu. So versus mode allows you to play with up to 4 human players. Now, unfortunately, I do not have 4 people, or even 4 controllers. So, thankfully though, with these HMN icons, or human icons, you could select those to change them to computer players. And you can even select it again in order to just have no players at all. Now I might as well pick a character about Fox. Now unfortunately you cannot start a round with just 1 player. It'll make that sound when you try to. So we may as well add a second computer player. Now we can actually set their level from level 1 to level 9. That's pretty much the intelligence of the AI we'll be going up against. We may as well set it to 5. Kind of average computer level. Oh, and also, for setting the alternate color for a CPU opponent, you just actually have to actually press a direction on with the C buttons before you actually lay the chip, I guess you could say, down. Because if you do it afterwards, you'll just set the color of your own character. Anyways, we may as well start a round on Peach's Castle. Alright, so yeah, pretty standard battle. And you may notice the stock icon on the bottom. It may look like we only have 1 life, but really, that's just a representation of our character, because it doesn't come into effect in these time battles. All it does is just show what character we're playing as. Because whenever I knock out Yoshi, it'll show that. Score +1 for me and score -1 for Yoshi. That pretty much indicates our score. Now that score is what determines who wins this round. There we go. Unfortunately, I don't have any like super charged up attacks with Fox. Although I probably could have used the up special, but anyways. Got a red shell. I always found it weird that timed battles are in all of these Super Smash Bros. Games, timed battles are always the default option for versus mode, even though everyone I talk to prefers stock battles. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone that just plays this game in general prefers stock battles. I mean, it's the preferred game mode for competitive play, as far as I know. I mean, I don't see any competitive tournaments for the... Oh, by the way, yeah, the announcer will actually count down the last 5 seconds. And yeah, there we go. We have a victory screen. This is the victory screen for versus mode, which shows what character wins, along with the other characters in the background clapping for them. So yeah, every character in this game has a handful of little victory animations, along with each of the franchises having their own victory theme that will play that is directly based after a song from their franchise. So Fox's victory theme there is directly from the Mission Complete theme in Star Fox 64. Or is like an excerpt from it. Alright, we may as well play as... How about Mario? Now actually, the only way to get like a random computer opponent is by pressing this little icon, or this little symbol right here, and then just sending it to computer player. Mario versus Luigi, how fitting. And I guess we'll do another time battle. This time, we'll be doing it on the Donkey Kong stage, Congo Jungle. A little weird that it's spelled with a C when it's usually spelled with a K, but whatever. Oh yeah, by the way, with each stage on the bottom left corner, this is also seen in the training mode in single player, it shows like a little diorama of each stage. Which is kind of cool. In the modern Smash Brothers games, they just show an image of the stage, not actually loading in the full stage model just for that menu. Although I want to say Super Smash Bros. Melee also did a similar thing to this game, to where it would actually show like a little diorama of the stage. Honestly, I don't think I ever played time battles as a kid in any Smash Brothers game. I think it's just something I did once and I was like, that's kind of cool. Back to stock battles. Which I feel like that's probably the case for everyone. I may as well talk about each stage while I, play all of them. With the Congo Jungle stage, of course, being directly based after Donkey Kong Country, even down to the music being directly based after the main stage music in the original Donkey Kong Country, which is one of the most iconic pieces of music from the games. and I can't tell you how many times it's been remixed across the Smash Brothers games, because it's one of those songs to where they make a new version or like a new arrangement of the song for every single Smash Brothers game. All right. And yeah, the Mario victory theme for both Mario and Luigi is the level complete theme from Super Mario Brothers, of course. And so after the round ends and you get to the victory screen, you get some kind of tallies showing the results of that round, showing how many KOs each player got, along with their total score and their place, which would probably be more useful for 4-player battles. Alright, we may as well add another player to the mix. Why don't we? And we may as well show us stock battles. So you can have between 1 stock and 99 stock. Ain't that great? If you want to have an endurance test and play one round for literal hours, you can do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to have 3 stock. And we'll play as Link against Kirby and Samus. How about we play as Blue Link on Hyrule Castle, which this stage is directly based off of the Hyrule Castle in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which makes sense considering it was the most recent Zelda game as of the time of this game's release. Majora's Mask had not come out quite yet, which was also on the Nintendo 64. Now, they actually brought this stage back into Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. And I remember being pretty stoked about that because it was one of my most wanted stages. This is honestly one of my favorite stages in this game, in the original Super Smash Bros. I don't know what it is. I just really enjoy it. I guess because it's a pretty good size for 4 players, you know? Look at this place. Being pretty simple in terms of platforms, there's not that many extra platforms. And having this little area over here makes for some fun combos to pull off. It's a really good stage design. And it's not too far-fetched for what the stage is representing, and that's the top of a castle, you know? Okay, that's getting a little annoying. Uh-oh. Thank you, invincibility frames. Because otherwise I probably would have died again. Not sure how that worked, but okay. Oh, by the way, whenever a player is like defeated, the announcer will make note of it, saying, "This player defeated." With a computer player, it'll just say computer player. But if it's a human player, it'll say specifically player 1, player 2, player 3, or player 4. kind of funny that Link and Samus are against each other, and they're both characters that have long-range grabs. In pretty similar contexts. It's pretty funny. But the question is, who will come on top? The answer is I. There we go. Link's victory theme in this game is an excerpt from the main Legend of Zelda theme. Kind of makes sense, I guess. So yeah, you got in the background, you got the other characters clapping. Now I believe their position on the screen is actually dependent on their place. So like last place will kind of be farther back than those that got second or third place, or just second in this case because it's a 3-player battle. We may as well add in a 4th player. Why don't we? Go up against the 2 Pokemon and Captain Falcon as Ness. You know what, let's raise Jigglypuff's difficulty, just for the heck of it. Alright, next up is Planet Zebus. Now the music on this stage is directly, is pretty much just the overworld theme in Metroid for the NES. So yeah. Not much explanation there, or anything super specific. It's just the most general Metroid music you can think of, which makes sense. Because there's only one Metroid stage in this game. May as well be the most, be a pretty... something to represent the entire franchise in general, which at this point I believe was just 3 games. Oh yeah, by the way, the crowd chanting returns from the 1-player game, where it'll just be for whatever character that's doing really good. Let's see, while I'm struggling to find stuff to talk about, I may as well talk about the development of the game. I don't think I really got into talking about, like the making of Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 64. Now, of course, the main drive behind it, of course, from the director Masahiro Sakurai, was pretty much to make, his thought was to make a fighting game that was, you know, as accessible as possible to where those that weren't really experienced in fighting games could get the hang of it very quickly. And, you know, have a fighting game that actually has super simple controls compared to others that have these complex combos of, like, pressing 3 buttons at once and stuff. And doing all sorts of crazy control stick combinations. Pressing up, down, twice, and then pressing 2 buttons, whatever. Although I think I did talk about how it's interesting that, you know, the Kirby games and Smash Brothers were from the same developers. because it really shows, considering that the Kirby games are kind of, you know, platformers that are more accessible to wider audiences, while Smash Brothers is kind of the same way for fighting games. Now, Super Smash Brothers was not always supposed to have Nintendo All-Stars, but rather an original cast of characters. By the way, we won as Ness. Now, Ness's victory theme is, I believe, an excerpt from the title theme from the original Mother for the Famicom. So yeah, not sure what Jigglypuff's doing back there, just standing still, not even clapping. I mean, I don't know how Jigglypuff could even clap with those little arms. There's Captain Falcon all the way back there. Great. Alright, so next I may as well talk about team battles. So team battles is where you're able to pretty much fight within teams. Now there's 3 different team colors, red, blue, and green. And you could set them in any way you want. You could have 1 against 3. You could have 1 against 1 against 2. And you could have just a typical 2-on-2. Now, unfortunately, you can't just have a 4-player battle with teams. You could in later games, starting with, I think, Smash Brothers for 3DS and Wii U, because they introduced a yellow team. However, this just has red, blue, and green. And I mentioned before about how this is actually a way where you're able... This is actually why some characters actually have more than 4 different color options. For example, Captain Falcon here has blue and green colors that aren't normally accessible in free-for-all battles. Let me show that. Because normally you would just have this Jodie Summer colors, these darker colors, and these Blood Falcon colors along with the normal colors. However, in a team battle, they're able to access green and blue colors. Oh, by the way, also when multiple of the same character are also the same color, the others will be brighter. So for example, oh, and the other will be darker. Yeah, they'll all be different shades and stuff. Pretty interesting. Okay, Link doesn't have any extras. Oh yeah, I believe is this the only way to access green Samus? No. It is the only way to access blue Samus though. Ain't that interesting? It's also the only way to access blue and green Donkey Kong. Green Donkey Kong is just all green, interestingly enough. Not just green fur or hair. It's also the only way to access green Mario. And green Luigi. No, I'm kidding. But there's red and blue, which are normally accessible in everywhere else in the game. Alright, yeah, Team Battle is the only way to access green Kirby. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the exclusive alternate colors for Team Battle. A lot of greens here. Green DK, green Mario, green Kirby. It's weird. Along with blue Samus and green and blue Captain Falcon. That's pretty much all of the Team Battle exclusive alternate colors, we may as well do some team battles. We'll have... Whoops. We'll have a blue team and a red team. How about that? We'll have blue Captain Falcon, which is even bluer than normal Captain Falcon, which I believe this specific design of Captain Falcon is based after his design seen in the original 1991 F-Zero game for the Super Nintendo. And I believe green Captain Falcon is based after, I forget his name from F-Zero. But isn't it Pico or something? I think that's his name. But yeah, it's based off that racer. We may as well have red DK and red. Who have we not seen in versus mode yet? I think we've shown off everyone so far. Oh, by the way, for our teammate, we'll have blue Samus. And we'll be doing it on the stage, Yoshi's Island. Which I have explained in the training mode that this stage is actually different in the one-player mode, to where the clouds on the side that you can stand on, as seen there, are actually not there in the one-player game. So that's kind of interesting. And I believe, yeah, I have friendly fire turned off for now. I'll probably turn it back on. Turn it back on. I'll probably turn it on because I don't know why I said back, because it was off by default. But I'll probably turn it on next round. So yeah, those clouds make this stage a pretty large stage overall. By the way, this music in the background is based after the, I believe, is it the Overworld theme from Yoshi's Story? I think that's what it is. Because I definitely know it's not based after a song from Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo. But I think it's based after Yoshi's Story. Which makes sense because this entire stage is based after Yoshi's Story. And look at that Captain Falcon and Samus here. You think the two would go on a date or something? I don't know, considering they're both intergalactic bounty hunters. It's interesting to think about. Uh-oh. And she's gone. Alright, between Captain Falcon and Luigi. The two fan-favorite Nintendo All-Stars. So back to what I was talking about with the development of this game. Well, right as I say that, the round's over. Great. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. Oh yeah, by the way, the announcer dialogue for the team battles will actually be different, to where he'll just say the team color that wins. And not even this game's winner is blue team. He just straight up says that the blue team wins. Which is funny because that sentence structure of blank wins would be used for all battles in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. in 2018. It took them that long to switch it. But yeah,